a little trick, clean the lens, and you've instantly got a clearer picture. And, well, when I saw, I've got a bit of the COVID weeping, dropping everyone into breakout here. Hello everyone, I'm Yola and this is the Be Video Confident Show, and I'm really excited today because I've been talking to businesses who have really thrived with online video, and one of my absolute heroes today is Lynne Parker, and we're talking about funny women, she is funny women, and, and how to find a confident voice online. So I'll tell you a little bit about Lynne. Lynne, look at this, a little bit about Lynne. Lynne Parker, founder and CEO, Funny Women CIC, TEDx speaker, writer and facilitator, podcast host. What an amazing person who just keeps being vibrant and really important for women. Lynne Parker founded Funny Women in 2002. In response to a misogynist comedy promoter who told her that women aren't funny. Do you know, it's not just comedy promoters who say that. She went on to create Funny Women Awards, and 20 years on, so next year, 20 years anniversary, and the rest is history. So it's now an acclaimed not-for-profit community for women to build self-confidence and develop their own distinctive voice. Lynne is also a member of Education and Skills Working Party for the launch of the APPG and Enterprise Report, The Future of Female Entrepreneurship. Funny Women CSC has embraced a digital environment and gained recognition as a vibrant community for women to find and develop their communication skills via comedy and humour. And it really is that resilience and just hard graft that we're going to be talking about today. And one of the exciting projects that Lynne has worked on is as the host of the podcast, How to Have Fun at Work. Now, you think I've done it? No, it's more. There's more. Digital Women Awards 2021, nominated twice and a finalist for female-led community, and also Digital Woman for Good Awards, plus the Forward Ladies Leadership Summit and Awards 2021, nominee for Female Entrepreneur Award. Wow. Yes, there is more.
Stop.
So Funny Women has got another award in the Cultural Recovery Fund. Thank goodness, because this is really important stuff, and we really need to start recovering. This whole area just needs funding and supporting, because we've just realised it's so important to us. And this is, I promise you, this is the last one. Our life's work is providing a safe, diverse, creative platform that empowers women to perform, write, and use humour in business and everyday life. Welcome, Lynne.
I think I can go now. You've said it all. It's actually really scary when you see your own achievements, whatever they are, fed back to you. But haven't won any awards. That's the slightly sad thing. But there you go. Keep being nominated. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. It's a metaphor for my life, I think.
Lynne, but yeah, who gets the boyfriends? It's always the girlfriend. It's always the bridesmaid.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Had 2 of those, so we've done all right. There
you go. Oh, brilliant. Well, welcome. And my first question to you: when you founded Funny Women in 2002, what were your hopes and aspirations?
Well, to be honest, like most things in my life, it was a sort of happy accident. You've already told the tale about the annoying comedy promoter who was a client at the time because I had a public relations consultancy. And that was a catalyst for something that, I suppose, something bigger, in the sense that, women just weren't prominent. They just weren't visible. They were there on the comedy circuit, but bookers weren't booking them. And I'm not just talking male bookers, female bookers as well. It's just something about the whole stand-up circuit that to a degree it still is a bit of a boys' club, although I think it's changed an awful lot in the 20 years since I started. So, and of course this is longer than 20 years because I kind of had this experience in a couple of years before I set up Funny Women. But yeah, it was born really out of a PR idea that, you know, I had this client, let's do something to promote women. And we came up with the idea of doing a big charity event. And then I lost the client, mainly because I think he was a bit, you know, just couldn't cope with this mouthy woman telling him what to do. Story of my life. And I finally put on the very first Funny Women event in the autumn of 20... I have to get my twos all muddled up now. 2002. So we did a big event, and probably the biggest event we've ever done. And I've never gone back there. It was made the biggest mistakes, got them all out the way in one go. Launched Funny Women, picked up our first sponsor for the Funny Women Awards as part of the outcome of that, and launched the awards in 2003. And really, to this day, the awards are the beating heart of Funny Women, because it's where we are providing that platform for women to come through and have a go at primarily it's not so much now, actually. It was primarily stand-up comedy or performance, things like sketch comedy and what have you. Now it's probably equally divided between comedy writers, comedy creators, which is now, you know, we didn't even have what we have now. We didn't have any social media platforms when I started Funny Women. And now we have to feed, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you know, the content is I was going to say content is king, but I think I should say content is queen in this context. So it's all about women using these environments to communicate their comedy, and obviously over the last couple of years that's become even more important. So creators, filmmakers, writers, we now have 5 awards. So we went from year one in 2003 to about 70 women entering. Wow. To probably, I think this year we probably overall, in terms of nominations and engagement, had about 1,500 women involved. So it's huge.
Wow.
And there's interestingly a really healthy crossover now between our business audience, because we do a lot of business stuff as well, and the professional comedy circuit. So there's a really good crossover, and in fact they're symbiotic. We can't survive without the business audience, because it's our corporate work that tends to fund the outreach stuff that we do. And it was until COVID hit and all our income ended overnight within the space of a couple of weeks. Wow. And it did take 6 months for the Culture Recovery Fund to kick in. We got our first award a year ago. We've had 2 more since. I say awards, they're grants. You know, we get money via the Arts Council and the DCMS. And the interesting thing about that is that, and I think it's sort of pandemic weirdly has done us a bit of a favour. Those of us in the comedy industry used to find it really difficult to get funding through Arts Council, because comedy's always been that kind of bad fairy in the corner that sort of, but now we are culturally accepted. We are culturally relevant. And I literally cried with joy the day I got that first funding application through, because I've been fighting this cultural relevance thing ever since I set up Funny Women. And I'd like to think that's made the business community sit up and take notice of a bit more as well. Because actually, without humour, you know, humour is the buzz of our, you know, the background hum of our everyday life, isn't it? You know, everything we rely on humour. It keeps our minds active. It boosts our serotonin, and it's and never has it been more important, really.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I've answered 2 questions in one there, I'm afraid, but
Well, I just want to
hopefully that's
unpick a
helpful.
bit, just to go back. So, on one hand, you've got the awards, and you're working with stand-up comedians, bringing them to an
Not just stand-ups, writers,
writers.
filmmakers,
Hmm.
creators. Yeah.
Then you've got the business side. So,
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, the history of that is that when we had some tricky financial times in 2008, 2009, and we started to run some workshops to bring some money in, actually.
Mm.
And I ended up running quite a few of them myself, although I'm not a comedian.
Hmm.
I'm absolutely self-confessed not a comedian, but I am a really good facilitator and I don't like the word trainer, but I get
Mm.
comedy. So
Yeah.
as somebody that watches a lot of comedy, I tend to know what people are looking for in the industry. And I'm a listener. So
Hmm.
I will help people craft their material. So I was running workshops, and a lot of people used to say to me, "Oh, you should come and do this in our company. I think it would be really good, confidence building, telling our story or whatever." And that's literally how it happened. So I went from running them as a public thing to bring some money into Funny Women
Hmm.
to being asked to go into companies and run the same thing. I mean, it's very
Hmm.
different. It's not actually that different what I do for a corporate workshop than I do for a comedy workshop,
Yeah.
except that the stories aren't necessarily for jokes; they're more for communicating things. And because I have
Yeah.
this enormously long career and have done PR and marketing before I did this,
Yeah.
I kind of it's like I've packaged everything up that I've ever done and
Hmm.
turned it into another side of the business. So then we launched a kind of campaigning initiative in 2018 called Hilarious.
Hmm.
And we liked that name. And the original idea was potentially to start another business. But then
Mm.
again, COVID came along, things changed. We do have a completely separate Hilarious website, hilarious.co.uk, and on that is all our testimonials, and we talk about all the different things that we do.
Hmm.
So that is how it came about, and the money and the income from that goes towards all our outreach stuff so that we can run things for women that don't have a lot of money, offer discounts, run free things. Obviously we're doing quite a lot of online stuff free of charge,
Yeah.
or very low cost. So the income from doing big projects with the likes of who we worked for this year, we have a very long-standing relationship with NatWest and RBS and Ulster Bank. We've done some work with EY this year. We've done some work with MHC, which is a local, I say it's a big company in Medway where we're based, which is housing association.
Hmm.
So we work for all different people, and they all have slightly different needs and requirements. And I think because I had so many years in PR, I'm quite used to changing things around, and
Yeah.
I have an amazing resource of all these brilliant women who want to work. You
Yeah.
can imagine over the last year, they've been very happy to do corporate stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we've kind of, that's how Hilarious corporate stuff started. And amazingly, I mean, it sort of both saved our bacon in terms of the fact that we kind of had a lot of work booked. So,
Hmm.
that was recognised by the Culture Recovery Fund. And more importantly, I think because we are still doing it, people are now going, "Oh, that's great, yeah, come and do that." And the switch to online has been quite interesting because I think we can deliver a lot of stuff online. Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly what
Yeah.
you're doing, and it's
Exactly.
what we're
Yes.
doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's about your company's called Be Confident and everything. We're doing exactly the same thing in the sense that we're giving people the opportunity to learn how to be confident in lots of
Mm.
different ways. And humour is really essential to that. I think people that don't have humour are missing out on a huge chunk of life and communication. I think it is so important. And obviously we do focus on women, fairly obvious from the name, but we do actually work. We have a lot of male advocates, and we like work. We love having men in our events as well.
Mm.
Oh, we got a question. How exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Shall I answer that?
yes, please. I'll put on
Yeah.
script.
So do you think it's harder for women to be seen as funny? Yes, I do. I think that and I think you've nailed it, Claire. We are more self-aware and therefore more self-conscious, and therefore we don't have that genetic makeup that says let's just be hanged and do it. You know, we overthink everything. It's all to do with the way our brains are different to men. I don't think we're better, or I just think we're different. Women's humour is much more circular. It's about communities. We tend to be very funny with each other. If you watch a hen party at work, they're all laughing hysterically. Do they know what they're laughing at? Probably
No.
not. And, you know, I always say to people, the worst audience for all-female lineup is a room full of hen parties. It really is.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Because
Yes.
they're I mean, you know, controversially, I shall say it, but I think women are very judgmental,
Mm.
much more judgmental than men. And we eye each other up, and you know, but I think, you know, culture is always a reflection of society. We are seeing far more women now in every walk of life,
Mm.
and therefore comedy, and particularly stand-up comedy, you're seeing some brilliant women who are really high profile. You know, Catherine Ryan won our awards in 2008. I'm going to say no more. What a career. What a career. You know, after she won our award, she went off and had her baby, who's now a young woman. And she, her second, the woman who came second was Sarah Pascoe. So
Oh
that
my goodness.
year,
Yeah.
they
What a
both, you know, I mean, Sarah did lots of stuff for us because we didn't have a winner who was because she was having a baby and what have you.
Mm.
But what amazing careers those two have had. So, you know, I'm using them as an example because they're
Mm.
on everything. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, you know, absolutely brilliant. And there are loads and loads more that have come through our awards. Not necessarily the ones that won either. You know, Sarah Millican didn't win; she came second. She's had an amazing career,
My God, she's so
fantastic
funny.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
And so relevant as well. Really
yeah,
relevant.
they are. Desiree Birch, who was in the last season of Taskmaster, she won our awards in 2016.
Wow.
Jade Adams, we've been doing loads of work with Jade. She won our awards in 2014. She's on TV all the time at the moment. She's fantastic. They are, and they're all different. We've got lots of, you know, lots of different ethnicities. These women are all amazing. I personally would like to see a few more older women. So big cry out for us in the I'm over 60s department here, but you know, I think women are really funny as they get older, but getting
Oh
them on
my God.
stage is
My
harder, you know.
my mother at 91 is so funny.
Oh yeah,
So
old women
funny.
are always hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
sadly, we lost a really brilliant older woman called
Mm.
Lynn Ruth Miller this year. She was 70, no, she was 71 when she started stand up,
Wow.
and she sadly passed this year. She was 88, and she's had, I mean, that's an inspiration to anyone. She's
Yeah.
had the most incredible career. And you can imagine the memorials and the tributes to her have been incredible. But,
Yeah.
you know, we want more of that, because what I like women to feel is empowered enough that they can say what they want to say.
Mm.
And stand up, you can do that. You can say whatever you like. You can be rude, you can be filthy, you can be, I mean, Lynn Ruth used to do burlesque. She's just incredible. I mean, I just think it's amazing. I mean, all this stuff about being self-conscious and self-aware, just watch a few of her videos. That'll make you realise. But yeah, I like that. I like women being more outspoken. I don't like the way we are always judged by how we look and what we sound like. I think some of that comes from other women as well. I don't think it's just about what men think of us. I think men are conditioned to think that they're in charge and they're the leaders. That's one thing. But we mustn't feed that pipeline. We've got to work with them. And actually,
Yeah.
when, you know, research has proven when you get a workplace with 50% women and 50% men, it works better, you know.
It does.
Anyway.
I mean, I going into lockdown, I was incredibly self-conscious. And a lot of that was having worked in media. for 30 years, and commercials where any hair out of place, I would
Yeah.
be smoothing it and correcting it, and I'd be looking
No,
for
just,
finger positions. And so I just sort of beamed that back on myself. And
yeah.
I just had this thing that unless I was perfect, unless everything I said, unless my voice
That
was
is,
perfect, I
yeah,
couldn't do
so
it.
common. So common. I
Mm,
get women saying, I'm not going to enter the awards this year. I'm not ready. And I said, well, what's not ready? Oh, well, I don't think I'm good enough. I said, just do it anyway. Give it a
yeah.
go. You don't learn about yourself by sitting on the sidelines. You learn by giving it a go. I mean, exactly like you, Yola, the podcast was the thing. I could see everyone around me doing podcasts. We launched a podcast, more comedy focused one called Behind
Hmm.
the Scenes, and we had a host, and I used to come on at the end and just have a little kind of chat to her, and that was fun. But then I thought, well, why aren't I doing my own podcast? I've got loads of people I could get as guests. So I launched How to Have Fun at Work, and that is so much fun to do. And I've been able to get some amazing people, on as guests. I've surprised myself actually, but we had Jackie Weaver. She was amazing. Gosh, Jackie Weaver, I thought I just found her email and thought she probably won't do it, but she did. She was great, and we're
She was at
now,
home.
yeah, she was. And we have lovely chats on Twitter and things. She's great.
Mm,
I've just done the last episode of the year, so we've done 24 of those, and I've
mm.
ended my year with two great mates actually. Janet Ellis, she of former Blue Peter fame
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
author, written two
Hmm.
books, brilliant, and Lucy Porter, who I love to pieces.
Mm.
She was already kind of on the scene before I launched Funny Women, and she used to host for us quite a lot, and it's just always been amazing. And I'm really proud of that episode. It drops today, so rush to listen to it,
Yes,
please.
absolutely, definitely.
But yeah, so that was good fun. But Janet is a very, very experienced presenter, and I think it's taken me a year to have enough courage to ask her to be a guest,
Mm.
even though she's been my friend for 30 odd years.
I
But
know.
that's it. It just shows you how
Yeah, it really
ridiculous
does.
we are,
Yeah.
isn't it?
At the beginning of lockdown, I thought, great, I've got all these great friends. I'm going to talk about brand, which I love, and
Mm,
I'm going to speak to them. And I did 4 podcasts, recorded them, but I kind of worked out if I did it on Zoom. So I worked out technically how to do it,
mm,
did it, and then I couldn't record the intro. Just couldn't do it. I kept
yeah.
stumbling and bumbling. It took me 2 days. And in the end, I only actually put out one of them to my shame. Um, but what happened was there was somebody I'd been talking to about doing a podcast in a studio, and she runs a dyslexic charity, and she came up with an idea for a podcast to connect with her audience. And her fearlessness at communicating, I found that what I'd figured out on Zoom, and I taught
Mm,
myself how to edit the podcast, and we started making podcasts. And
amazing.
50 podcasts on, and I just became absolutely inspired with the fact that, she has all sorts of neurodiverse conditions, which causes her to stumble and but
But you know what? It
she
doesn't
just
matter.
goes for it,
Doesn't
and she
matter.
gets there. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
On
it's
every
so
episode,
inspirational.
we on every episode, I always ask my guests, how do they have fun at work? And
Hmm.
the most common reply is be yourself, which is what you were saying earlier. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter if your hair's out of place.
yeah.
Doesn't matter, as in my case, you've grown a double chin in the last 2 years, sitting on my bottom. But I'm spoilt. My husband is a music producer and technician, so
Mhm.
I
Oh,
have
you
a
are
full
spoiled.
scale studio, and we record it on Zoom and he edits
Mhm.
it. So I'm very lucky. But again, the tip on that is, and it's same as your one, find resources, find other people to collaborate with. One
Yeah.
of my big things is collaboration, because, we going back to Claire's question about being self-aware, that's another thing. We just don't think we can do things. But
Mm,
we,
mm.
I surprise myself what I can manage technically. I mean, I I didn't really want to do social media when it all started up, quite honestly. I just thought, I still feel like that sometimes, but we do it and we use it. But I think that's it.
And that's when I set up the Be Video Confident course. It's about learning to film on your smartphone. And it's like everyone has got one now in their pocket.
Yeah,
Very
it's
few
the only
people
way to
don't
do
have
it, isn't
them.
it? Really, it's so easy.
And it's so brilliant. If you just
I
there's a few
bought
tips.
myself a one of those ring lights with a little clip-on thing, and I don't, to be honest, I don't do a lot of video. I'm probably happier with sound, but a lot of my community, we have a whole award dedicated to creation called Comedy Creator Award, and we had 85,000 nominations for that award, just to give you the scale of it.
Wow.
So that is nothing else. That shows anyone listening to this how important it is to grasp, if you want to be in it to win it, there are certain things you've got to grasp. And actually a lot of these creators, influencers, whatever you want to call them, I like creators because not everyone's an influencer. But some of them are really simple and they're really really clever, and sometimes the simplest ideas are the best and they communicate the best. I think we all get very in our heads, don't we, and complicated.
I've noticed that on courses where I'm working with a group of people, and one of the things we do is like come up with an idea for a film, for your first film, and some of them get really complicated. I said, just make it simpler. Just have one location, one part of that idea, and then you'll do it. Because it's too complicated, you'll scare yourself.
Well, that's what people, that's exactly what people do. And I've seen it with writers. I've seen it with, people writing scripts. They get very in their head. They complicate it. They have too many characters. They try to have too many scenes. It's the same thing, exactly the same thing. I mean, our biggest lockdown success, coming at it very simply, is something called the Comedy Crash Course. It has been amazing. In the deepest of lockdown, we were running them every couple of months. I think at one point we ran one every month because we were in lockdown. It felt like forever. We're now running them every 3 months, so we'll probably have about 4 a year. But it's such a simple idea, and it's an hour every day for a week. It's at lunchtime-ish, 12 till 1. People, if they can't make, we record it anyway. We've kept the price very competitive so that people can afford it, and obviously we do have bursaries and things for people who really can't afford it, which is very much part of our ethos, being a not-for-profit. But those have been really good. And what we do is we give people 4 different modules on each day, and on Friday we get them to put it all together into some sort of presentation. I can either do it live or they can make a little film and we show it and we give them feedback. But it's such a simple idea, and it's here to stay now because it ticks all the boxes for accessibility, and you can fit it into your everyday life, and I have to say, all different ages. We had the last one I ran, the oldest woman on it was 81. So good.
So how do we find that? On the website?
It's on the website. The next one is in February. I think it's the 21st to the 25th of February, and it's called the Comedy Crash Course. We can share it on our socials and our different LinkedIn. We are sharing it. You'll find it very easily if you just go to funnywomen.com events. Yes, absolutely. So that's a big thing for us. And then community-wise, we've been running comedy workouts and virtual reality. Well, comedy workout was a much more comedy community thing. Virtual reality we did in partnership with a couple of our business partners, things like We Connect and whatever. They were the same sort of thing, but much more business focused. And now we are running the course and a thing called demystifying session. So we take a topic and we get a few experts in, and we do like an hour and a half early evening, and talk, just open house, really, questions from people. It's really good.
So is that on Zoom?
We do those on Zoom, yeah. Yeah,
great.
and they're all always pay what you want. So you
Mm,
pay, you pay what you can afford. So you can entry point is from as little as £1. But
brilliant.
some people are lovely and pay a bit more, which is great. So we like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's kind of and I want to do more of that for the business community.
Mm,
But I feel there are some good organisations out there that could really we have done some work with people like
mm,
NatWest, have put a lot of money behind doing stuff with us. We've done some great work with them, but we all know that it's been very tough for everybody in the financial sector over the last year. So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that will all come back. We've got some discussions about next year, so
That's
keep an
good.
eye on the website, and these events will come up.
Brilliant. Now, I just wanted just a quick summary question, which is, what new online activities did you launch during lockdown? Because we've talked about a
But
couple of things,
yeah,
and
they were that was mainly it actually. Yeah,
so that was the
comedy crash course,
comedy crash course.
demystifying.
Yeah.
That's carrying on.
Hmm.
We'll workshops. We are talking about spin out workshops, but they do work best in real life. So
Hmm.
that's our fallback position, is to run them online. I've run stand up to stand out online,
Hmm.
but my next one is live at the end of January. Fingers crossed. We've got all our corporate programs that we run
Hmm.
online, so they're bespoke. So people will contact us and say, we want to do this. We've done
Hmm.
a lot of booking. We've booked a few well-known comedians for people that wanted them online. Yeah, we did a couple of quizzes. We've done all sorts actually, but they're all formats that we can carry on doing. They're
Mm,
not just. I think the things that will endure online are the things like the comedy crash course, the
yeah.
simpler stuff, the community stuff, because a lot of women can't go out in the evenings because they've got kids and family commitments or elderly
Mm,
parents or whatever. So actually that online accessibility has been the game changer, I think, for a lot of people. So
mm,
if once everything settles down again, I think we will have this hybrid life going forward. There'll be
yeah.
things that we run online, and we've run 2 Funny Women Awards in the first one we had to do behind closed doors, so we did put a show on
Hmm.
in a venue at the Comedy Store actually, and then we streamed it, so we could only have the people involved with the show. So that was the crew and the entrance and a few of the judges, and some of the judges stayed online. And then this year we were able to run the Funny Women Awards final live at the Bloomsbury Theatre, but we also streamed it, courtesy of a fantastic organisation called Next Up Comedy, run by a woman. Just put that in, the lovely Sarah Henley, who's been a guest on my podcast as well.
Excellent.
And yeah, so we've done that. So I think the future is hybrid. It's
Mm,
what can you do, and how can you then expand your audience by streaming it and putting it out.
yeah. So your online plans for 2022?
More of the same.
Mhm.
I think the big thing for us will be, so we're doing a repeat of our big online event that we did to celebrate International Women's Day this year, called Funny Women Around the World,
Mhm.
which I don't think it's going to be quite as long as we did it this year. We did sort of 24-hour stream or something. It
Oh
was,
my
all I
Lord.
know, no, it wasn't 24, it was 12 hours. It did feel like forever. It felt like 24 hours. But I think we're going to do it in chunks. So we're going to do 4
Mm,
hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. But that literally was involving our community around the world. So we had our chapter in the US, from Boston. We had the Down Under, Melbourne, Australia. So they actually started the day. They were all
mhm.
drunk at 10 o'clock in the morning, it felt like to us. It was hilarious. So we just do that, and they just come in, and we use a platform called Twitch for that, so anyone can watch it.
Oh,
So
great.
it's a free stream of mad cap comedy. So we'll be doing that again. I'm not sure of the date. It'll be the nearest Saturday to International Women's Day, which is the 8th of March. So not sure which side of it we're going.
Yeah.
What else are we doing? We're doing the course, which I mentioned in February, Comedy Crash Course. We're launching, we've got Demystifying. We'll have one in January. Topic, I don't know at the moment. We're launching Open Mic online,
Oh, great.
because
Yeah.
the reason for that is, in order to enter the Funny Women Awards, you have to submit online. So your first submission and we've done this for a few years, but now we're going, right, this is it now. So you have to record yourself, exactly like you've been saying, get over yourself, record yourself. So you record your set online. That can either be a set in a club that someone's filmed you on their phone or whatever. But we are encouraging women to just record their sets, like, talking like we are now, because we had quite a few of those this year. But it's a really good way to get the awards entry in. You don't have to travel to a gig, and we view all of those. I think we had nearly 400 this year to filter through. Wow. So that's why we're running open mics. We thought we'd give people an experience, because when they get to the live heats, they will be online. Probably again using Twitch, because that's what we did. And then we'll be back properly to live shows for the semi-finals and the final.
Wow. So is that autumn of next year or summer?
We launch on the 1st of April. So entries for all of our awards are open from then. And then we run it through the summer. Usually some activity around the Edinburgh Fringe in August. Hopefully, again, we'll do something this year. And then the final is in September, towards the end of September. And I actually don't know the proper date, because we are in negotiation with venues. I don't want to jinx it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. I mean, your plans for next year are just so exciting. Really exciting. And it's so exciting to see how everything's turning hybrid for you.
Yeah, I think it's the future. And I think, the thing I've embraced the most about it is the fact that it means we can travel the world. We can do these crazy things with our friends in America and Australia and Indonesia and wherever they're from. And if you do want to get involved, it doesn't have to just be comedy. It can be our workshops. It can be anything that we do. We will mirror some of the things that we do in comedy and business as well. That's where we get together with business partners like NatWest and we run similar things. It gives you don't have to leave your home to do it. So sort of no excuse, really, I think.
Exactly.
I think is the message here for all of us, And, get over yourself. I think the problem is with all of these things is we have to look at I mean, I've been doing this thing with you and I'm looking at myself. I don't know why I'm not looking at you, but that we all do that. We all do that. It's crazy, isn't it?
Do I look all right?
You look lovely. But here I always think, oh God, the chins, the light, the basement, all the things you have to do. But actually, I think people quite like it. I don't know about you. I'm very nosy. I like to see into people's homes, so I quite enjoy it all. Really, it's fun.
Yeah, I do. Especially if someone has a door open behind them.
Yeah,
I just I
do get bookcase envy
someone
though.
going to walk past.
Yeah, bookcase envy. That's why I've made mine so that you can at least see I have some books, Because I just go see these people with these amazing bookcases behind them. Plants, no plants. I managed to kill my plants. I have plants in front of me, but they're difficult to get to water, so I've managed to kill them off. Not very good. Not very good feng shui, is it? I mean, what the hell. But there you go.
Thank you so much, and here's to lots of good feng shui next year.
Yeah, I'm going to go and get some new plants, I think.
Yeah, get some plastic ones, it's fine. Brill. Thank you so much, Lynne.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to get in touch with Lynne, follow her on LinkedIn. She's there. And then from then on, also the website. I've run that by a few times, funnywomen.com.
And hilarious.co.uk.
Brilliant. Thank you. Wonderful. Great. Well, bye for now, everyone.
Thank you.